Hi, May. Before I show you the solutions to those questions that you highlighted, I just wanted to give you just an idea of the stuff that you need to understand before you can move on to solving those complex problems. First of all, these two tables or figures are the main things. On the left here are your special angles. So you should know off by heart the values for sine, cosine, and tan for 0 degrees, 30 degrees, 45 degrees, 60 degrees, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, and 270 degrees. And you can see that it's either going to be 0, 1, a half, 3 over 2, or the square root of 3 over 2 or the square root of 2 over 2. So I don't know if your teacher gives you this. I think you have to memorize. You also have to be able to go back and forth between degrees and radians. That's really an important skill as well. Besides that, knowing that, because basically we can take any angle and use these special angles as our reference angles to get answers, which I'll show you in a moment. The other thing that you need to know is you need to know your unit circle. You need to be able to find all of these special angles on the unit circle, but also be able to use reference angles. So let me show you how to find a reference angle. So I'm just going to do an example here. Let's say that you had to find, make that a little bit thicker there. Let's say that you had to find, let's do an easy one first, sine of negative 30 degrees. And they want you to simplify or find the exact value for sine of negative 30 degrees. First of all, because it's a negative, you want to find out what the reference angle is as a positive value. So looking at this one, you can see that negative 30 is right here. It is in quadrant, and I have a graphic for that, just a sec. So I just pasted my quadrants. This is in quadrant 4, which is right here. So quadrant 4, it's equivalent to the sine of 30 degrees, and because it's quadrant 4, only cosine and secant are positive, so that means that the sine of 30 has to be negative. So when you have cosine and secant are the only positives here, tangent and cotangents are the only positives, sine and cosecant are positive, and all functions are positive. So if sine is in quadrant 4, it's going to be negative. So what this means is that we're going to be given the sine of 30 degrees, but it's going to be negative. So we go over and we see that the sine of 30 degrees is 1/2. So the sine of negative 30 degrees equals negative 1/2. What this is depends on what quadrant that the angle falls in, not on whether it's a negative here. So you always have to go back to the quadrants. Let's do another example. Okay, this time I'm going to do the cosine of negative 135. So first of all, find where negative 135 is on your unit circle, and that's it right here. So that means it is in quadrant 3. And quadrant 3 says that the tangent and the cotangents are positive, so that means that the cosine is going to be negative. The value of cos negative 135 is going to be negative because it falls into quadrant 3 where all cos values are negative. Then what we have to do is find the reference angle for 135. Now 135 is right here, and the reference angle for that is going to be 45 degrees because that's 45 degrees. So we're going to use the angle of 45 degrees, and we know that is going to be the square root of 2 over 2. So the exact value of the cos of negative 135 is going to be negative square root of 2 over 2. Let's do some more. Okay, let's do the tan of 210 degrees. You can see that 210 is not a special angle, so we have to use a reference angle for this. So again, first of all, identify where 210 is on your unit circle. You can see that my reference angle is going to be 30 degrees, and it's in quadrant 3. So that's going to be the same as the tangent of 30 degrees. And in quadrant 3, tangent and cotangents are positive, so my value is going to stay positive. And then my tan of 30 is the square root of 3 over 3. So positive square root of 3 over 3. Okay, let me do one more. Let's do the sine of negative 240 degrees. So again, we're going to identify that on our unit circle. We're going in the opposite direction to 240, which is right here. That's this line here. So that's going to be 60 degrees is our reference angle. You always measure from the horizontal. So that's, we have 45 here. Sorry, we have 30 here, 45, and 60. So this is going to be a reference angle of 60 degrees for sine. And because it's in the second quadrant, sine's going to be positive. And the sine of 60 degrees is equal to 3, square root of 3 over 2. So positive, the square root of 3 over 2 is the same as is what sine of negative 240 degrees is equal to. So, so this is all about using reference angles and the signs of trigonomic functions, dependent of course on the quadrants, to get the equivalent or the actual value when it's not a special angle. So I hope this helps. Next I'm going to send you my solutions. Bye for now.